all right, here's the thing. Since that Chris Ryan episode, I have been experimenting with non-monogamy, polyamory. I've been seeing two wonderful beings who have a lot of experience being non-monogamous, polyamorous, who just aren't monogamous people. And they've been teaching me in a lot of things about how to do it. And man, it's really, there's a lot of things that keep coming to mind. One of them is the time I was one of them is any time I've been hanging out with some of my friends who have given up monogamy and have judged those friends. So I think back to time, and I don't know which of them I can name, so I'm not going to name any of them. But I could just think of times they've been talking to me about what they're going through, and I've secretly been judging them, thinking like, oh my God, really? You're okay with that? Like it doesn't bother you that your girlfriend is like fucking some dude somewhere? That doesn't eat you alive, man? That doesn't drive you up the fucking wall? And of course I wouldn't say that. Or if I did say it, I would probably be a little less brutal about it. I would say something like, I'd say the truth, which is like, wow, that'd really fucking bother me, man. That would drive me crazy. I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night knowing that was happening. And then I would think to myself, well, they're being weak. That's not very masculine, is what I would think. And it's all it was just crazy, insecure judgment, all stemming from, I think, a kind of massive flaw in my ideas of what intimate love is supposed to look like. And I think a lot of those ideas got implanted in my head through in a lot of different ways. And I think it's a real brutal burden to carry around this insane idea that love looks like a person being controlled by your expectations, and that love looks like a person giving up intimate connections to half the species so that they can be with you, and that love looks like a person cutting off all the potential sweetness they could experience from different lovers than you. But I think I really believed that for a long time. And I think because of that belief, I probably caused a lot of people, including myself, a lot of heartache and pain. People who had to put up with my jealousy and weirdness and attempts to manipulate and control, all because I just wanted to be the most important thing in their life out of a kind of narcissistic, egoic need to be the center of their universe or something like that. I mean, it's not so cut and dry. Like if you've ever gone through anything like that before, it's not like it's not like you're waking up in the morning thinking, how can I make myself the center of this person's universe? How can I prevent this person from experiencing happiness with another person other than me? How can I make sure that this person is definitely not going to pursue anything that looks remotely like something more than a basic platonic friendship with other people in their life? You don't think about it like that. It's almost instinctual. It's like some low level adjusting of rules, producing rules and questions. And there are interrogations. There will be interrogations. There will be questions. Their phone will buzz and you'll look at it. You'll try to see the text that pops up on the screen. Just really embarrassing stuff like that. And that's the person that I have become in many relationships. And I'm really sorry that I was that person. And now that I'm learning about this other way of doing love and realizing that the thing I was most terrified of is in fact the thing I should have been like headed towards, I'm having a similar experience to somebody who's like sobering up after a 2-decade alcoholic blackout, where I'm looking back and thinking, my fucking God, what was I thinking? Why was I acting like that? Who was I? Why would I be so jealous? Why would I be so embarrassing? Why would I be so controlling? Why was I like that? So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, it sounds like I feel ashamed or guilty. It's not so much that as much as a sense of regret, a feeling of like, fuck, man. Like, there were a lot of times where I was like talking to people. You know, someone who's like completely public about his Aubrey Marcus. There were times when I was talking to Aubrey and he was like laying it down for me in this really like cool, honest, vulnerable way. And I like in every single one of those moments, like there was a chance for me to for something to click into place, and it didn't. It took a lot of luck, and it took like, you know, crossing paths with some pretty advanced beings who were able to sort of literally like move energy through me so that I could kind of let go of the rotten burden of being a sex cop. You don't want to be a sex cop, man. If you're going to be a sex cop, the kind of sex cop you want to be is the kind of sex cop that shows up at parties and strips for people. But you don't want to be a sex cop who is monitoring every single indication emanating from your partner for any sign that they might be finding another man or woman attractive, or that they might be pursuing some kind of intimate tryst with someone other than you. You don't want to be that person. And man, I've walked that beat for the last 2 decades, and it is a grim beat to walk, and it leads to no joy, and it leads to no happiness, and it leads to nothing more than a general feeling of bitterness. So what's happening to me right now, and I think this is going to be the intro I'm going to use, is I feel like I've sort of come under the tutelage of some pretty cool people who have been showing me a completely new way of experiencing intimacy that I had always secretly reviled and judged and rolled my eyes at and thought to myself, that doesn't work. Which is truly one of the most hilarious things for a serial monogamist who's been in many, many long-term relationships to say non-monogamy doesn't work. It's like somebody who's been in like 30 car crashes saying motorcycles are dangerous. Really, really, really ridiculous. But the hesitation I'm feeling is also, I know that when I find something really cool, I get starry-eyed over it and then get a naive idea that this is going to be some utopian way of existence and that this will be a turbulence-free modality or something, which is why I hesitate. So if in the next few weeks or months, as you hear this, what thing that I'm figuring out evolve over the course of this of the podcast, please forgive me if suddenly at some point I'm like, that was fucked. That was wrong. I was wrong. It's a mess. There's nothing more horrible than having the experience of love from more than one person. God, why would you ever want that? Why would you ever want to experience sweetness and love with many, many people who have spent a long time cultivating their ability to experience joy for you, even if that joy isn't related to them? I don't think it's going to happen, but who knows, man? I don't know. But for me, this podcast has been a combination of things. It's a way for me to sort of work shit out in my own head. It's a way for me to send signals out to you, the universe, and get signals back that help me sort of work through my own shit. And thank you for that so much. and it's my job, and it seems like it has something in common with one of the fundamental pillars of non-monogamy, which is something Chris Ryan has talked about, and the people who I have been with have sort of taught me, which is honesty. Like it's the more honest you can be with yourself, and the more honest you can be with your lovers and your friends, even when it doesn't feel good to be honest, the better your life becomes. And this is an experiment that has worked for me. The experiment of monogamy has not worked that well, or I guess you could say it has worked in the sense that it has gotten me to the point where I am now really aware of how important truth and honesty is when it comes to intimate relationships, and any relationship for that matter. And so that's where I'm at. And I did it. That's the intro. 12 minutes. I had to get it off my chest. God, you should have, I've been like I've tried like multiple stupid intros over and over and over again, just desperately trying to avoid saying, man, I've been doing this thing and I met these people and they're teaching me this stuff about polyamory, and it's crazy and beautiful, and it's like filling my heart with joy, and it's making me feel so light and good, and I've been grinning from ear to ear, and I feel really good right now. But instead I've been like trying to do it's just like rants about how I should be allowed to heat my hot tub more than 104 degrees, which, by the way, I fucking should. It's insane that the federal government is dictating a limit on how hot we can make our hot tubs. But that's another rant for another podcast. This podcast, my friends, is a dark journey through the weird phone labyrinth that springs up around you when you find yourself waiting for AT&T to install internet at your house.